Welcome, everybody, to the first ever episode of HWA Wrestling Podcast. You're probably thinking, well, there's video. How is this a podcast? Well, you can have a video podcast, too. This will be on some form of audio somewhere on iTunes. You'll be able to download it. I'm not sure where we do that yet, but it'll be somewhere, and it'll be on YouTube if you want to watch it there. My name is Brandon. Justin, do you want to?
Yeah, my name is Justin.
Before we start, I guess we'll talk a little bit about who we are, so that we're not sort of strange. Well, we are strange. Basically, we are hardcore professional wrestling fans all of our lives. HWA was me and Justin's backyard wrestling organization. We are now too old and decrepit and beat up to actually wrestle anymore, so we're kind of carrying on the HWA name in the form of this podcast so that we can continue in the professional wrestling business somehow. Is there anything you want to add, Justin?
I can't believe you called me old and decrepit.
Well, the reason I'm old and decrepit is because of you, and the reason you're old and decrepit is because of me. So
fair enough.
So basically, we're just two old backyard wrestlers that can't go anymore. So we're gonna have a podcast instead. Basically, what our podcast is gonna consist of is we're gonna do a rundown of the week for like Raw, probably not so much SmackDown, and then we're gonna kind of hit a little bit of the history of pro wrestling. Like this week in pro wrestling, we'll go back like 20 years and see what was going on Nitro and Raw, and just see where the conversation goes from there. Anyone who wants to get in on the conversation, apparently this is live. You can tweet me at Brandon Staub on Twitter. And any suggestions that you might have to make the show better, because neither of us have ever done this before. So we're just kind of winging it and seeing how it goes, and hopefully it'll work out. So I guess we'll get started with the whole Monday Night Raw. I don't know if you watched it this week or caught anything, Justin.
I caught the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we get there. They touted it as the season premiere. Like, since when did wrestling have seasons?
It never did.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. I think this is the second year they've done that, though, because I was actually at the Raw where they did the very first season premiere last year. I didn't understand it then. I don't understand it now, but anyway, it's a season premiere. So Triple H and Stephanie come to the ring and talking about how for the first time ever on Raw, Sting is going to wrestle. He's going to wrestle the Big Show. And then the New Day comes out, and Triple H and Stephanie dance with the New Day.
No, that's your group right there.
Yes, I am a New Day fan.
I hate the New Day. The New Day sucks.
We'll agree to disagree on that one. So New Day and the Primetime Players. New Day defeats the Primetime Players in a pretty basic tag team match. And of course the Dudleys come out at the end and do their little stare down and tell them they're going to put them through tables. I'm happy to see that the Dudleys are back. in the WWE. It kind of gives the tag team division a little jump start because it's been really boring for the last couple of years. There has not really been any good tag teams in the WWE.
Yeah, I think it's been boring tag team wise for the last maybe 10 years overall.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 15, 20. I mean, tag team hasn't been nothing the way it used to be back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
You know, WCW killed that when they were in the mid 90s. They had nobody.
Mm-hmm.
The Outsiders got the tag team titles and kept it, and nobody ever challenged them.
Yeah. Tag team wrestling seems to be dying, kind of like women's wrestling seems to be dying right now.
I would agree to that.
Speaking of divas, Sasha Banks defeated Paige in a big, boring sleeper of a match. And it's a shame because Sasha Banks and Paige are two very talented female wrestlers. If you've seen them wrestle at all in NXT, you know that they can wrestle. It's just, it seems like sometimes when those people make the jump from either NXT or an indie organization to like the main roster at Raw, it's like they just won't let these wrestlers, men and women, they won't let them shine. It's a shame that happens.
Yeah, I mean, look at Kevin Owens there first. You know, when he came, he kind of shined. Now he's kind of in the background, in my opinion, from what I see.
Yeah. I'm a big Kevin Owens fan. They are giving him a Intercontinental title match on Sunday, so we'll see if maybe they give him that push that he deserves. On to the Wyatt. The Wyatt family was on Miz TV, which was kind of an odd mixture, having the Miz and the Wyatts interacting.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm glad I missed that part.
Yeah, it was kind of a quick interaction with the Wyatts kind of creeping out the Miz. And then Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, of course, come to the ring and tell them that they found their third man for Sunday for the big 6-man tag. I don't know if you have any thoughts on who the third man might be.
Well, I thought it was going to be Randy Orton because at the Raw that we were at, he was attacked by the Wyatt family. But now I heard he's been written off TV.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Or something. So
there's been some graphics leaked on the internet of Baron Corbin, who's an NXT wrestler, coming up to main roster, which I would be fine with if they decided to do that. But I really hope it's not Randy Orton. I'm really not all that interested in Orton anymore.
that would be a weird tag team combination.
Yeah.
He just doesn't fit it. He just doesn't fit in there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. Next up, we had John Cena and a match against Sheamus.
Oh, jeez.
Of course, you can probably guess who wins this match. In typical Cena style, it just... I don't even really know what to say about this match. It's the same thing we've been seeing for the last 10 years in John Cena.
Always winning. Surprised he doesn't have every belt around his waist.
We might see that someday.
Even the Divas title. He'd probably look pretty good in that.
Well, he is married to Nikki Bella, so I'm sure he probably does wear it around the house when, they're home together.
That'd be an awesome picture to see.
Maybe. Okay. The next segment on Raw it's hard to describe. If you haven't seen it, you really should look it up. Ryback in the ring cutting a promo, and interrupted by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is great on the mic. Ryback was so bad that it was even screwing up Kevin Owens.
So you mean another Scott Steiner?
Yeah. Scott Steiner makes Ryback look... Ryback makes Scott Steiner look good.
Yeah, Scott Steiner was horrible.
Yeah.
Except he did get you that one time many, many, many years ago when he cried saying he was retired. Remember that on Raw? Not Raw, Nitro, back in the day?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? You actually believed he was going to retire.
I did?
Yes, you did.
All right. And I was upset about it?
No, you just believed he was going to be retired.
Oh, okay.
I don't think anybody was upset about it.
No.
Who cares about Big Papa Pump?
He seems to have gone off the deep end these days. I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff he's posted on Twitter.
Yes.
But apparently he's infatuated with Hulk Hogan. Starting to think that maybe Scott Steiner is in love with Hulk Hogan.
You never know.
I think it's something like the last 25 to 30 of his tweets are all Hulk Hogan related.
Steroids will do that to a man.
Yeah.
Turn you into loving Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. So Ryback, when he gets in the ring, the first thing he does is starts shaking his hips and singing like Elvis. And that's more disturbing than Big E swinging his hips and dancing to the ring. Seriously, if you have not seen this segment, you really should go watch it because it's just terrible. Ryback really needs to go away. They need to give Kevin Owens the Intercontinental Championship on Sunday, and they need to send Ryback somewhere else. I don't really care where, as long as he's not on my TV anymore. Neville and the Lucha Dragons defeat Stardust and the Ascension. It's a good tag team match, nothing spectacular. Although I am kind of interested in seeing the whole Stardust and the Ascension team. They kind of mix well together with their gimmicks. So, kind of interested to see if it goes anywhere. All right, this is the match of the night, really. One that got the most attention was Charlotte versus Nikki Bella for the Divas title. This match was basically to see whether or not Nikki Bella would break AJ Lee's longest reigning Divas Championship record. Charlotte did win, but only via disqualification because the Bellas pulled their twin magic thing where they switched and Charlotte pinned Brie instead of Nikki, so it didn't count. The internet exploded Monday night when this happened. Everybody is ticked off. And I'm one of them. And we'll discuss that. We'll discuss why later, but I just want to get through the matches right now. Unless you have anything you'd like to add.
Oh, I'll add it later on.
All right. Next, we saw Cesaro defeat Rusev in basically just a match to further the drama between Ziggler and Lana and Rusev and Summer Rae. This is another angle that can't end soon enough because it's just seems like it's been going for months and months, and I think it has been going for months and months. And it's really just not exciting anymore. I don't think it ever was, but really, hopefully, we'll see the end of it on Sunday, because it's just awful.
It's not a new storyline if you think about it. The history, people have always had this storyline. It gets kind of boring after a while. The whole, did you cheat? Did you not cheat? I don't know. Maybe it just gets annoying.
Yeah. I think we've seen this storyline in pretty much every wrestling promotion in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
More than once from each promotion.
And, the WWE is trying to go all family, and they throw the storyline in there.
Yeah, that is a little odd.
It just, I don't know. Personal experience of cheating, again, it gets on my nerves.
Yeah. It's not really PG rated. I'm not really sure why they're...
Well, they want to go to kids, but yet they're showing he might have cheated on his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Then the kids go, Daddy, did you cheat on Mommy? Just saying.
That's a good point. All right, on to the real main event of the night. The Sting versus Big Show match, which lasted all of 2 minutes before Seth Rollins came out and interrupted the match, which then Cena came out also, and they turned it into a tag team main event with Cena and Sting versus Rollins and Big Show. Cena pretty much fought the entire match until the hot tag and brought Sting in to win in the last 30 seconds. And Cena and Sting won, with Sting using the Scorpion Death Drop and Scorpion Deathlock on Seth Rollins to make him tap out. And that ended the show for Raw.
You really think they were going to let Sting wrestle that match at all? Besides the 2 minutes that he wrestled?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because Sting just doesn't have the stamina to wrestle a match that long anymore, or if it's just because they're trying to...
I think they're trying to protect him so he doesn't get hurt. He is 56 years old.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to protect him so nothing gets messed up.
Yeah. I agree with that. We'll see on Sunday what Sting's really got left in the tank.
If Ric Flair can wrestle into his 60s, Sting can wrestle at 56.
Yeah. And Sting is in much better shape. He's not flapping all around. Speaking of Sting, your thoughts on Sting getting a title shot?
I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, are they doing this just kind of let him take his career out? Give him the title that he's never had? Or are they just trying to embarrass him again? I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Do you want to see him win it?
It'd be kind of cool because you know how big of a Sting fan I am, and I always have been. It'd be kind of cool to see him have a title he's never had.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still kind of pissed off about WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
I think that was a WWE versus WCW thing, and Triple H got what he wanted.
I found it funny that they made it when they were building up to that match. They were making a point to say this isn't about WCW versus WWF, but yet at the end of it, everybody, DX came out, and then the NWO came out. I mean, that screams WCW versus WWF.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I agree.
As far as what I think about Sting, I love it. I like that they're giving Sting a title shot as long as they don't bury him, and don't make him look weak, don't embarrass him. And I really want to see him win a title. Just because I'm that nostalgic old school wrestling guy that wants to see Sting get his moment that he deserves.
It'd be kind of good to see.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to hold it for long. Let him hold it for a couple weeks and drop it at the next pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't let him drop it like 24 hours later.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking might happen, though, is he might win it, and maybe on Raw the next night, Sheamus might cash in his briefcase. Hopefully I'm wrong about that.
Yeah. You don't need a stupid-looking champion.
Yeah. All right, on to the topic that everybody's talking about, the heat on Nikki Bella. I didn't ever think I'd really be discussing divas on a podcast, but where do I go with this?
You knew they were going to do it because they have to bury anything of CM Punk.
Yeah.
Point simple. If AJ wasn't married to CM Punk, something else would have happened probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what it's all about. And I've been hearing a lot of podcasters and people on the inside, people from, I don't know if I should name drop, wrestling news websites, writers, people who are well known in the internet wrestling community, talking about how the heat that Nikki Bella is getting is great because heat is what you want. You want heat on any wrestler wants heat. But my problem is the heat isn't on Nikki Bella. It's on the WWE. People aren't mad at Nikki Bella because she broke AJ Lee's record. They're mad at the WWE for doing it out of spite. So the heat isn't on Nikki, it's on the WWE. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying because they've always done that to former wrestlers.
Yeah.
That left. Through the history, they've always done it. Look what they did to Bret Hart after he left.
Yeah.
Found a little person dressed as Bret Hart and sent him off to WCW.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Vince's way of basically getting back.
And I'd bet you if the internet was as big as it is now back then when they did that, you'd have people arguing, well, Shawn Michaels is getting the heat, when really it's not Shawn Michaels that was getting the heat, it was Vince McMahon, because he was the one that sent that little person dressed as Bret Hart just for spite.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Shawn Michaels that had the heat. It was McMahon. And that's the same situation now. You have Nikki Bella beating AJ Lee's title reign because probably more than likely Triple H has it out for CM Punk. And that's not the right kind of heat to have on. Nikki Bella does not the one that has the heat. I don't care what anybody says. If you want to argue with me, you can come on my podcast and argue with me. It's a challenge to anybody out there. So that's me on my soapbox. I'll leave that go now.
Let it go.
It makes me mad because AJ Lee was a talented wrestler who deserved a long reign, and Nikki Bella is just a face, basically. I would argue that she's a pretty face.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the last thing I want to talk about for Raw, I'm confused about whether or not the Authority is supposed to be a heel team, like heel or babyface. Because you got them coming out in the beginning of the show, giving everybody what they want in a Sting match on Raw, and then they're dancing, they're having a good time with the New Day. And then later on in the show, they're trying so hard to get Sting, in this terrible situation where he's up against a Big Show, and then everybody's booing them because they're stacking the deck. It's confusing. I don't know what they're trying to do. If they're trying to be heel or if they're trying to be babyface.
I think they're trying to ride the fence. Neither way. Just kind of stay on the fence. You know how sometimes they push wrestlers to do that over time.
Yeah.
One's not a heel, I mean, you can almost say John Cena's kind of on the fence. Is he a heel or is he a face?
Yeah, the only difference between that and Cena, though, is Cena doesn't change his character like in the middle of a show. You know what I mean?
True.
Like the Authority comes out and they're all happy and they're giddy and they're making the fans cheer, and then by the end of it, they completely change their character in the middle of the show, and by the end of it, people were booing them. It's strange.
It is strange.
All right, so that's it for Raw. I don't know. TNA news.
What's
all
TNA?
Right.
What's TNA?
What? What?
The only thing I was going to say about TNA was I was kind of snooping on their website the other day, and his name was Bully Ray there, but he's still on their website as a wrestler, a current wrestler.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was like 2 days ago. I thought it was funny. I was like, Bully Ray. Wait, he's in WWE right now. It's kind of weird.
So apparently, because they don't have enough money to pay their wrestlers, they probably had to get rid of their website developer, and nobody's updating their website now.
Could be. It is kind of... poor TNA. Hey, they were just at the York Fair tonight.
I know. I wanted to go because I figured it'd probably be one of the last times I'd ever get to see them.
Did you really?
Yeah, I wanted to go.
No.
They're actually, to be honest, their house shows are much better than their TV. It should be the other way around, but...
That's because everybody's probably talking.
Yeah, there's not much storyline going on. But I went a couple years ago when they were at the York Fair, and it was actually good. It's just straight wrestling. It's great because they've got a very, very talented roster. It's just that their writing and their storylines are awful.
Oh, well.
All right, so this week in wrestling history, we're going back 20 years to WCW Nitro from 9/11/1995.
Holy crap, I was only 13 years old.
Which would have made me 11 or 10?
Somewhere around that.
Yeah, I can't do math this late. So we saw Alex Wright versus Sabu. This was Sabu, I think Sabu's debut in WCW.
Yeah, he wasn't there very long.
No. I'm not really sure what Eric Bischoff was thinking bringing Sabu into WCW. That definitely was not their style of wrestling in 1995.
No.
Also, I don't know if you looked at any of this, like looked up any of the dates here, but this is actually only the second episode of Nitro.
Oh, I can believe it because I remember it started in 1995.
Yeah. So just a week before is when they were in the Mall of America, and Lex Luger showed up and shocked the wrestling world.
And pissed that man off.
Yes. All right, so then we had Sting defeat VK Wall Street, who was IRS, right?
Yes.
And that is actually Bray Wyatt's father.
Yeah.
And Bo Dallas.
Which is weird because a couple years later, then he started going by his real name, Rotunda.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There was back then. There was too many people switching names back in WCW. Remember Avalanche, Shark,
Big
John Tenta.
John Tenta, yeah.
Yeah, gee whiz.
Big Boss Man went through a couple too, didn't he?
Yeah, he was the boss.
The boss.
Then the
Big
Guardian
Bubba.
Angel, Big Bubba, and then Ray Trailer.
Ray Trailer, yeah. Randy Savage defeated Scott Norton via pinfall. Scott Norton, man, that was a big dude.
Yes, he was.
He was like a freight train, man.
I think he was a weightlifter beforehand.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm not 100% sure, but there's such thing called Google.
I think he was a football player too, wasn't he?
I just think he was a bodybuilder. That's all I can remember him, but I'm not 100% sure. But to be accurate, I'm looking it up.
All right. While you're checking out on Scott Norton, Hulk Hogan defeated Lex Luger in the main event that night.
He was a arm wrestler.
Arm wrestler, that's what it was. I knew it was something.
So, okay. Well, and then Hulk Hogan defeated Lex Luger.
Yes. And I think this is when Luger was first coming in. I think this is when they're like building up to the War Games pay-per-view, and they're trying to they had Hogan and Savage and Sting on a team, and they were trying to get Luger to come over, but Savage was he didn't trust Luger, but Sting was trying to talk him into it because Luger and Sting were buddies.
Yes, and then during the War Games match, Luger hit Randy Savage, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Accidentally, supposedly.
This is pre-NWO, so this is before Nitro really
took off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still good though. Nitro was good. See, I think that people don't give Nitro pre-NWO credit.
It was good. It was real good.
Compared to what was going on over on Raw, which was we had Razor Ramon versus the British Bulldog. Bulldog winning via disqualification because the 1-2-3 Kid interfered.
That was a very interesting rivalry between Razor and 1-2-3 Kid.
Mm-hmm. Then you had the Smoking Guns defeat the Brooklyn Brawler and Radford.
Wow.
Which, I believe Radford was Louis Spicolli.
You can find out.
You're my Google man.
Yeah, at least I'm good for something.
And then you had Isaac Yankem.
He was Louis Spicolli.
Yeah. Isaac Yankem defeats Scott Taylor. I don't even remember who Scott Taylor is, to be honest. Isaac Yankem, we all know who he turned out to be. Assuming everybody knows, but if you don't, Isaac Yankem eventually became Kane.
Yeah, that's He played a couple different characters.
Yeah, he played the fake Diesel.
Oh, do you know who Scott Taylor was? Scotty Too Hottie.
Oh, okay. I actually met him.
I guess he was going by Scotty Too Hottie at the time.
Yeah. It was a couple months ago. And then we had Psycho Sid versus Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship. Michaels retained the title in that match.
Nobody shows up at pay-per-views, right?
Nope. Never. Yeah, it's 1995. This was I think this was the new generation era of WWF. I think that's what they called it. The new generation, when they had all the hokey, like, weird cartoon characters as wrestlers. You had, like, Duke the Dumpster Drozy and Skinner the Alligator Man, and this might have been like Bastion Booger type days.
Yeah.
So, like, WWF TV was awful. And then it had Nitro, which was actually, like, good quality, like, wrestling and good storylines. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on? Do you have any thoughts on this?
I miss these days sometimes. It was kind of two shows. If one wasn't going too good, you could always flip to the other one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's missing in today's wrestling world.
Yep.
You don't have WWE doesn't have any competition, so they can just do whatever they want. And you have to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I was just thinking earlier about how much. I mean, I still love professional wrestling. Obviously, if I didn't, I wouldn't have wanted to start a podcast, and I wouldn't watch if I didn't still love it. But I just think about being a kid and just couldn't wait for Monday night. I just remember calling you sometimes and like, never guess what's happening, and like, those days are
Oh, it was. I remember getting off school and coming home and counting down until Nitro would come on because I was a big WCW fan back then.
Uh-huh.
It was just the constant countdown to Nitro, and I don't have it anymore. And it's not because I'm older. It's just it's not what it used to be.
Yeah, the wrestling business has changed so much, and I kind of think it's. Go ahead.
The one thing I think it is for me is, yes, when I was younger watching it, I knew it was fake, but you never talked about it being scripted. You just watched it and enjoyed it. Now it's entertainment. They broadcast it as entertainment.
Yep.
I think that's what killed it for me. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's what killed it for me.
I think what killed it for me is the internet. Just because you can't, there's no more surprises because it's all over the internet before it happens. And you have all the websites that leak just all the backstage news and drama that goes on. It makes you upset when certain things happen. It just kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. I'd rather.
Now, you talking about everything or just like the storylines getting leaked out?
I'm talking everything.
See, here's one thing I never got. If certain companies you work for make you sign a paper saying you can't talk about anything, why doesn't Vince do that to his writers?
Yeah.
How's this stuff get out? I mean, if I owned the WWE, I'd make sure my writers want to talk about it. You can't talk about anything. Yeah. Look at these reality shows, especially all these reality shows my wife watches. They sign these agreements that they can't talk about it until it's airing on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my wife loves The Bachelor. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that stuff's filmed 8 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
But they got to sign a paper that says they can't talk about it. Why can't he do that to his writers and wrestlers?
Mm-hmm.
Just hey, you can't talk about it. Make it exciting again, so you don't know what's going on. The drama stuff, well, whatever. That can be.
I know part of it's my fault because I read it, but it's hard not to when you want to know so bad what's going on with Hulk Hogan, or what's going on with CM Punk. I just think that if the internet wasn't around, maybe for the whole CM Punk situation, because I'll admit it might be an unpopular thing, but I am a CM Punk fan. I'm the biggest CM Punk fan in the world.
How's that an unpopular thing?
Because he's a quitter, and he left, and he's a jerk.
Well, see, they'd want you to believe that.
Yeah.
There's two sides to the story.
Yeah.
There's always two sides to the story. On anything. I mean, what he could have been saying is true, and what they could be saying is true. There's a truth in the middle somewhere.
Right.
Somewhere. You'll just never know.
Yeah. But I think if the internet wasn't around to report everything that happened in that situation, whether what's reported was true or not, I would rather be completely in the dark about everything and just think, oh, well, his contract must have expired and he quit, or, he didn't resign, and leave it at that. That way, I don't know that the WWE was screwing him over, because then I don't get mad at the WWE. I just think everything's normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, they have to write about why the WWE did this, and why the WWE did that, or why this wrestler did this, and why this wrestler did that. And it makes you angry at that organization, or it makes you angry at that wrestler. When if the internet wasn't around and you didn't know why they did what they did, you're just disappointed that that wrestler isn't around anymore. You're not mad at the organization because they were screwing him over. And I think that's something that has ruined wrestling for me, is just hearing all of the backstage stuff that should be kept backstage. It should be kept in the offices of the WWE and not get leaked out. And I think that ruins it for a lot of fans.
I can agree to that. It ruined it for me.
Yeah.
That's another thing that ruined it for me. Just too much drama that I don't need to know about. But people love drama.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm at fault because I read it. But it would be a lot easier if it wasn't there for me to read,
Yeah.
Because I'm just so used to clicking on, oh, let's go to WrestleZone and see what's going on.
It's called clickbait. Don't click on it.
Yeah. All right. I think I don't have anything else I really have to discuss today. Is there anything?
No. I mean, this is number one. We'll get better as we go along.
Yeah. Yeah, this is only our first broadcast, people, so don't come down on us too hard. And like I said, if you have suggestions for the show, tweet at me at Brandon Staub. I don't know, Justin, do you want to give your Twitter?
Yeah, it's at JUTNRIPPLE. So
Jut and Ripple.
Yeah, Jut and Ripple.
Cool.
I tried to use Justin Ripple, but somebody already had it. So there was another Justin Ripple running around here somewhere.
Keep checking on it though, because when I first signed up for Twitter, I couldn't use Brandon Staub because somebody else had that, so I had to use my middle initial.
Uh-huh.
But about 2 weeks ago, I checked on it again, and it was available, so I switched it quick.
So somebody changed their name.
Yeah. So I'm just at Brandon Staub now.
I might have to check that out and see what happens.
Yeah, check on it every now and again. All right, so this is the first episode. We will do this again, hopefully next week. We will have another Raw rundown and a This Week in Wrestling History. And hopefully we will also discuss the results for Night of Champions. So we'll have a lot more content to talk about. And
we should give TNA just a little bit, 5 more seconds next week.
Yeah, I'll try to make my paper actually have something written on it for TNA.
Just put the T down.
Yeah, maybe each week we'll add another letter.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for today. Remember, check us out on YouTube. I think it's probably going to be under my username right now, which is just Brandon Staub. Eventually, I'll probably set up an HWA Podcast YouTube channel. And keep an eye out on iTunes if you want to just download the audio. So we will see you next week.
See you next week.